Hello again, and I'm here to do a review of a film I first saw in fourth grade. My major interest at the time was kung fu films, so I did plenty of research and I bought and watched a lot of these films. I remember loving it at the time, this film. I remember loving this film at the time. The Prodigal Boxer is a 1972 martial arts film directed by Yang Jun and stars Meng Fei, which is his first leading role, Yasaki Kurata, Wang Qing, Maggie Lee, and veteran actress Pai Hung. And the martial arts choreography is by Lau Kai Wing and Huang Pei Chi, and the screenplay is by Nico. And I remember, as I was saying, I remember loving this film at the time I saw it in fourth grade. The second time I watched this film was when I was in middle school. I remember still loving it and calling it a classic. Now, as a teenager, more mature teenager in high school, I watched this film again. And I have to say, my opinion has changed. This film has dated drastically, and I mean drastically. But there are still some good moments in the film. So I'll talk about the things that I like about this film. Well, first off, before I forget, the film's about Feng Shiyu, a hero of Chinese folklore and of Shaolin history. This film focuses on his younger teenage years. In the beginning of the film, Fang beats up a student of a local kung fu school owned by Ironfoot Tan and his younger brother, Iron Hand, over a cricket fight. The news spread over the school, and the two teachers seek revenge on Fang. I'll just call the two teachers the Iron Brothers from now on. The Iron Brothers invade Fang's home and kill his dad, but his mother survives the massacre because his mom is Miu Chui Fa, who is a former heroine, and her martial arts skills aren't bad in this film. So after he finds out that his dad is murdered, Feng is bound and desperate to avenge his father's death by practicing very hard. But he's too stubborn, and he tries to go and fight them several times. It gets beat up 2 times. So, yeah. So as I was saying, let's talk about the pros of this film first. The first thing is the beautiful CinemaScope photography in this film. It's well filmed and amazing to look at. Second is the chemistry between Meng Fei, Pai Hong, and Maggie Lee. Maggie Lee is his love interest. Pai Hong plays Miu Chui Fa, and Meng Fei, of course, is Fang Shiyu. These three are pretty darn good in this film in terms of acting. When they're together on screen, it's full of energy, humor, and innocence. Third is the authentic Chinese music score. This score is natural, pure, and very refreshing in terms of real Chinese orchestrated music. The composer's name, I think, is Chang Ching. It seems to be the only film he has scored. Now let's get into the cons here. So this movie has some pretty bad acting from some of the main cast, including Meng Fei. I'm messing up today, am I? Yeah, Meng Fei, when he's by himself, instead of with the 2 other female actresses, he kind of falls down a bit. And it is his first leading role, this film. Another thing is that some of the choreography and fight scenes look pretty fake for the most part, but it does get a lot better near the end. This movie also feels as if you sat down through a 2-hour film, but it's actually 90 minutes. That's due to some absurdly long takes and slow pacing. Spoiler alert, there's this one dream sequence in a black background, which shows the 2 villains punching and kicking and screaming, while Fang seems to be scared, all crumpled up on the freaking ground, bruised up, and screaming at the same time. Meng Fei delivers some of the most worst and cringeworthy acting I have seen, and the dubbing makes it even worse. Well, just for that particular scene. Why am I messing up? Another thing is the editing. It's very questionable. Another spoiler alert. When Ironfoot Tan makes Fang crawl under his legs, it goes from him punching the ground and like a little girl and crying and back to the tournament, which Fang invites the villains to. The villains are shown kicking some of Fang's friends, and it cuts to Fang in a whole different outfit running to the tournament. There's so many questions that are waiting to be answered. Didn't Fang say he was taking care of his mom and he would postpone the tournament to 3 days? Wasn't he just having a fit like a girl after he crawls under Iron Hand Tan's leg? Shouldn't he just wait 3 days? What's going on? What happened? That was the biggest flaw of them all in this film. I mean, it was just so abrupt and out of the blue. It's just immediately after he crawls under his legs, it cuts back to the tournament like nothing happened. Like there's just still fighting. Don't you think that's crazy? I mean, what the heck happened there? This film was also made in many different studios throughout the runtime of this film. There are some scenes in this film that are actually filmed outside an actual landscape. But these studios are so freaking obvious because the lighting is so bad, it's complicated, and the lighting, you can tell there's lights in the studio. I mean, it's that bad. We could see shadows on painted walls that make it look like landscapes. I mean, come on, man. I mean, the Shaw Brothers studio did a better job of trying to make it seem believable like they weren't actually in the studio, even though you can tell it was. There was no shadows, anything. You can still believe that they were in the studio, but the studios were actually believable. And the lighting, they did a better job of lighting. I mean, whatever it is. Shaw Brothers did a better job of lighting and all that. But these guys didn't even put forth enough effort to make it look at least believable. There's so many obvious studios. You can see lights everywhere. Come on. And there's this one scene where Fang is fighting both of the villains, and he gets beat up for the second time. And while the cinematography looks riveting, when he's down on the ground and he's getting up, and the camera gets up with him, you can see the city it's filmed in the background. You can see downtown Kowloon. You can see downtown Taiwan in the background. My God. Overall, I'm kind of in the mixed bag with the Prodigal Boxer. It has some great things going for it, but there are some things in this film that are obvious signs that the film has really dated due to its abrupt cuts, obvious studios, bad dubbing, bad acting, and choreography that looks like it's being rehearsed on set up until the end, which in the end, they really bring up the choreography to make it look at least realistic. That's another major plus for me. But as I said, I remember loving this film, as I said, but I see more now, and I've made up my mind. I'm going to give The Prodigal Boxer a C-. That's my grade for the film. If you've seen it, tell me what you thought of it. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Are you in the mixed bag? Just tell me if you've seen it, and so I can have several different witnesses. So this video will be going on YouTube as well, but Viva Video has released some social media thing. It's a whole new community now, and I get to post the videos on Viva Video, and people can see them, and it's really cool to have people see what I'm doing with this platform or app. I'm actually trying to make movie reviews with this thing, and it does work. And I guess you guys should try it. So I see you guys in another video. You guys have a blessed day, and have a Merry Christmas. Oh, and also please like, comment, and subscribe. And those of you on Viva Video, please like this video, or review, I should say.